like you ever felt. Oh my God, this just keeps getting worse.
Breakthrough Media. Truth always wins out in the end because it outlives falsehood.
Are you listening?
Intelligence Committee wrapped up its public impeachment hearings on Capitol Hill, but another story continues to unfold surrounding the son of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. While the Ukraine scandal revealed the Biden family's ties to the country, the less told story surrounding Paul Pelosi Jr. that's still unraveling on the sidelines following revelations that he was a board member of the Ukraine oil company Vizkoil, an executive for NRG Lab. On America's Rachel Asena's caught up with journalist Patrick Cowley, who's been covering the story of the House Speaker's son. Take a look.
I wanted to follow up with you because you've been covering this Paul Pelosi Jr. story and his business ties to Ukraine. So, Patrick, what, if anything else new has since emerged from this particular story?
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for having me. Paul Pelosi Jr. is now under fire from a new set of allegations. A woman named Karina Feng, who is the daughter of a legendary Chinese healer and acupuncturist in San Francisco, did an interview with me in which she accused Paul Pelosi Jr. and his associates, and she's now suing him, of ripping off the title and stealing her father's former property. This property is now a drug house. It's a den of prostitution, and she's claiming that Paul Pelosi Jr. defrauded her out of this property. She's also claiming that Paul Pelosi Jr. forced her to have an abortion and also weaponized Child Protective Services in order to intimidate her and get her children taken away when she reported him to the city of San Francisco for fraud.
We now know that two major Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, have sons with business connections in Ukraine, and we just went through that public impeachment hearing centered around that Ukraine phone call between President Zelensky and President Trump. How do you think the Paul Pelosi Jr. story plays into this Democrat-led impeachment effort?
I think it's clear that Democrats and also establishment Republicans, people of the political class, were using Ukraine as their own personal piggy bank by putting their family members on the boards of companies to act as surrogates. This is total quid pro quo. Foreign aid, I believe, was used in order to grease this foreign country, Ukraine, in order to advantage the private sector business deals that were being done by these Democrats.
What specifically do you think should happen next when it comes to Paul Pelosi Jr. and Nancy Pelosi?
I believe that Republicans in Congress have subpoena power and they're not using it. I think Republicans are on defense during this entire impeachment process when President Trump is out there saying, look, I'm exposing the corruption. I'm exposing the private sector business deals, the cronyism that was going on in Ukraine, the corruption. And in fact, by law, the United States is supposed to help Ukraine clean up their corruption. And so this is all a diversion in order for the Democrats to ameliorate themselves of these private sector, very shady business deals that they were doing. Rachel, I think it's very clear that the U.S. government was used by political elites in order to enrich themselves through shady business deals, and they are willing to weaponize the U.S. government against people who call them out on it.
Boom. Yeah.
And I think the war being waged by politically connected elites against regular people is the real story here.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for your time. I really do appreciate that.
Breakthrough Media.
Pat Brown's father, Edmund Joseph Brown, was known for running scams and gambling operations in San Francisco. With the help of businessman William Newsom II, Pat Brown became governor of California for 2 terms. During his governorship, he awarded the Squaw Valley concession contract to William Newsom III and his partner, John Pelosi. The deal was criticized for the state of California paying for everything and getting nothing. William Newsom III grew up with the governor's son, Jerry, who was training to be a Jesuit priest. John Pelosi's son, Paul, married Nancy D'Alessandro, daughter of Thomas D'Alessandro Jr., who was known for smuggling heroin into the U.S. with Lucky Luciano and the Baltimore Mafia. John Pelosi's son, Ron, married William Newsom's daughter, Barbara. Over ongoing disputes about the Squaw Valley concession, William Newsom Sr. threatened to hurt the governor politically, just as Governor Brown was running for a third term against Ronald Reagan. He lost. But 8 years later, the former governor's Jesuit son, Jerry, reclaimed the governorship in 1974. He appointed William Newsom III to a Placer County judgeship in 1975, and 3 years later to the State Court of Appeal. William Newsom was an attorney for oil magnate J. Paul Getty, named in the 1966 Guinness Book of World Records as the world's richest private citizen. And while serving on the appellate bench in the 1980s, he helped Getty's son, Gordon, secure a change in state trust law that allowed him to claim his share of a multi-heir trust. After Newsom retired from the bench, he became administrator of the Getty Trust and provided seed money for his son Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, to start the plump jack business that led to a career in San Francisco politics as mayor of San Francisco and lieutenant governor of the state of California. Gavin Newsom was informally adopted by the Gettys after his parents divorced, and recently succeeded family friend Jerry Brown to be the current governor of California. For 80 years, these four families have ruled over the state of California politically. And with the help of Kamala Harris, Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, and Dianne Feinstein, California's uncontrollable state government spending has amounted to over $2 trillion in debt and the highest tax rates in the country. The homelessness population is on the rise so much that a typhus outbreak has reached epidemic levels. Thousands of needles from illicit drugs litter the streets. They have made California a sanctuary state. They have been steadily chiseling away at the Second Amendment. They have passed laws for mandatory vaccinations, and they continue to aggressively oppose our president on every front. On October 1st, 2016, right before Donald Trump won the election, President Obama transferred full control of the internet from the U.S. government to an independent California nonprofit organization. In a cyber war scenario, the U.S. government may not have control over the internet. Even if it secures military and government domains and IP addresses, the targets in cyber warfare are likely to be civilian, and the U.S. government requires private sector infrastructure to operate. Since the internet underpins our computer systems, electrical grids, communication systems, and other critical infrastructure, our entire civilian society could be at risk. Who controls California? Who controls the four families? What is a republic? For newswars.com, this is Greg Reese.
InfoWars, tomorrow's news today.
Gentlemen, whenever you have a group of individuals who are beyond any investigation, who can manipulate the press, judges, members of our Congress, you're always going to have within our government those who are above the law.
but he's sort of beaten the odds in terms of a lot of
Well,
people.
yes, but you know what? He's not going to be president. He is not. John.
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it.
All right, all right.
Epstein didn't kill himself.